Welcome back to the Uncle Bob Crypto Podcast. I'm here with Girl Gone Crypto. Girl Gone Crypto makes videos about blockchain that are for nerds and normies alike. Crypto agnostic, she focuses on projects that increase crypto adoption. A little bit more. Leia is a blockchain media and content specialist that focuses on increasing crypto adoption. She is passionate about advancing the space by connecting everyday users to blockchain-powered applications and making crypto educational, fun, and approachable. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, let's get into your journey. How first did you get into crypto? Tell us about what brought you here.
So I first heard about Bitcoin probably back in like 2012, 2013, because I had some friends that were miners and they were really excited about it and talking about it. And, you know, they kept telling me to buy Bitcoin and I really wish I'd listened to them. But I really got into the space more in like early
They weren't
2017.
drug dealers then.
No. Just a bunch of computer nerds setting up miners. And so, but the way that I really got involved is kind of a fun story that involves a ukulele.
Okay, go on. That's interesting.
So I don't know if you've heard of Steam or Steam It now is like the Hive community, but
yeah.
So I stumbled across that. Actually, one of my miner friends told me about it because they were like, hey, I know that you aren't, you're not into this whole mining thing, but you might like this because you can blog and earn crypto. And I was like, okay, I'll check that out.
Yeah.
And so I had never made content before, but I had been learning the ukulele and I was like, well, maybe I'll just like do a little cover and post that video and see how it does.
It probably did really well, didn't it?
It did.
You know why I know that? Because my best mate, I'll give you two stories. My best mate did he's only ever made one YouTube video and it's of Mr. Blue Sky on ukulele and it got tens of thousands of views. And secondly, my mate the other day, he's in quite a well-known band in Ireland, right? Because I used to be a musician back in the day. And he's doing how to learn the ukulele on Facebook and it's proving very popular.
You know, what's so funny about that is I've done a bunch of different ukulele covers at this point now. I haven't done one in a long time, but like a year or two ago, I only ever made one ukulele tutorial video. Only ever one. And I think it's at like almost 100,000 views on YouTube. I'm like,
wow.
What? Like maybe I should do that again. Maybe if this crypto thing doesn't work out, I'll go back to ukulele tutorials.
Yeah, go on. So continue.
Okay, so I earned like, I think it was like $100 in crypto. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
What is this? And so really I've posted now, on those platforms for almost every day for 3 years. So I've been, no, so I've been part of that community, which has been really cool. But what was great about that experience is that it really led me down the rabbit hole of saying, okay, cool that I earned that $100, but like, did it just come out of thin air? Like, how did that happen? Like, why is it worth anything?
It's
like,
called
what
pleasure
is
reward system?
Right. And but just kind of, just understanding like,
yeah, of course.
Why is crypto worth anything? And then now what do you do with it? What is this thing called an exchange and private keys and, all of that. So it just kind of, like I said, led me down the rabbit hole and it was really fun. And what was so crazy though, so I only started my like Girl Gone Crypto channel like 8-9 months ago. But what kind of led me to start it is I'd grown quite a following on Steam It, just because I was posting every day and whatnot. And people kept asking me to come speak at crypto conferences. Wow. And I was like, no, I just do like ukulele and like whatever, like but because it's a crypto based platform, a lot of crypto people were following me on there. And so I started going to these different crypto conferences and speaking like all over the world. And I was like, you know what, this is like, I think the universe is telling me it's time to start a crypto channel.
Wow. Yeah, of course. So I did. That's interesting. You know what? Because it's good you've got in now, because when they say the herd is coming, there's probably a herd of women. When they find out, because they're few and far between, but if they get it and they get in, they can pull some serious numbers. I mean, serious numbers. So it's good you've got in now. that you've got a name and you can only build up from here, because who knows? I mean, look, if the bull run does happen, the bull run, everyone's still waiting for that bull run. But if that happens, you're going to get a lot more professional content. I guess it's going to be treated not as a joke anymore. If it does stabilize in some ways, I'm not sure if it ever will, but if it does, there's going to be a lot more professionalism brought to the space. But it's interesting. So do you love making content then?
I do. And that's what's so fun about it. And that's part of why I decided to start this channel, is because I'd been making content on Steam for a few years and was like, you know what, this is fun. I enjoy this, but I didn't really have like a niche. I was just kind of like, it was like a daily whatever. And I was like, I really enjoy making content. What niche would I want to focus on? And I was like, crypto. Like,
that's
crypto is where
Stop there for a second, because that's where you were then is kind of where I am now. Because I enjoy making content. I don't mind it. It's not a chore. I have a full-time job. I've got other commitments. Put it that way. But I don't find it a chore. I don't. I kind of enjoy it for some mad reason, but I haven't monetized it. So now I've got to a point, and it's interesting in the last video that the other guy, he was saying, but have you monetized it? Sort of. Well, it's true though. I mean, it's a real thing. And a mate of mine who is a marketer, and I know him very well. I was speaking to him actually last night, and he said to me, "Listen," I said, "Do you know what? Long story short, in my day job, I injured my back recently, right? It means I can't do it. I earn pretty good money in what I do. It's a manual job, but I can make good money in it."
Yeah.
I injured my back, and I said to him, well, maybe this is a sign from the universe or from God, or that it's time for me to put a bit more into this. And he said, great. He said, so what are you thinking of doing? And I said, well, I'm thinking of taking a blockchain course, studying blockchain, because I don't really understand it. If truth be told, if people started firing proper bullets at me, I'd probably get hit. I'd probably have to take a few hits. And so I said, look, I get the overall concept. I get it, but I'd love to know it in detail. And he said, screw that. You need to learn sales and marketing. And I said, well, what do you mean by that? He said, do you know what you're selling? And I went, well, I don't know really. And then I thought, actually, I don't. He said, can you boil it down even to one line? And I said, no. He says, have you got a sales funnel? I said, no. Have you got like lead magnets? Have you got a product? And I said, no. And he said, well, you need to learn sales and marketing, my boy. That's what he said to me.
My boy. Very like
so
Irish.
True. It's so true. It's so true. Like, what's the point of doing all of this? Because it's a lot of effort. I mean, I think I've written well over 100. I hesitate to call them articles, because true article writers are worth their weight in gold. But I do. I write. I've built up a following to a degree on Twitter. I put a lot of effort, a lot of hours in. Why not, at some level, begin to reward myself from that? So, bringing that question to you, how have you found that side, the sales and marketing side of things, and how's that working for you?
Yeah, so a couple of things I want to touch on that you mentioned. One thing that I thought was really interesting was the, how like you'd injured your back, and so is this time to focus on this? And one thing that's really great about doing content as, like a line of work in a sense, is that it is very, I don't want to say like recession proof, but it's like, like you have this global pandemic and here we can still be doing Zoom interviews. You get injured. Hey, you can still do this. It's actually, I think in a lot of ways, it's a really great career in the sense that like it can adapt to a lot of different situations. You can do it while you're on the go, traveling. Like it's very adaptive in that sense, which is really cool. And then from a monetization standpoint, there's obviously a lot of different avenues that you can take with that, from eventually getting, like YouTube ads or whatever. I know some YouTubers, that's like a huge source of income for them because they get so many views, but it takes a long time to, build up to that point.
He advised this book called Business Made Simple. Have you heard about it?
I don't think so.
All right, it's really good. It's really good.
Mm,
And he said that one of the most important thing is knowing to know what you need to do. You need to know what the problem is. So you
mm,
start from the problem first. Like if you've got Panadol, like Anadol or whatever they call it, and it's different in America. Panadol here. I've got a headache. Oh, I'll have a
uh,
Panadol. But there's so many problems in crypto. But I thought, actually, yeah, there's bad investment advice, there's scammy organizations, there's dodgy CEOs. I mean, super, super dodgy, on a whole nother level of dodgy. The technical jargon, exchanges ready to rip you off, illiquid kind of assets, trading knowledge, wrong trading knowledge. There's so many pitfalls for those first timers coming in.
mm,
So I'm kind of grappling with that. So it stopped me dead in my tracks. It's like, what am I making content for? So I'm even like stopping right now and thinking, what am I making content for? And it
mm,
stopped me. Like I'm not going any further until I decide, right, why am I here? So I'm actually,
mm,
it's happened obviously with my back, but I'm trying to find, that's where I am right now in the space. Why am I here? Where do I go from here? Even that I thought, what, every video that I'm kind of putting out, like, why am I even putting them out? I think it was just to make up the numbers in some ways up till now. To just,
mm.
but if the reason why I'm doing a video is to like, the problem is you're not getting enough information, so I'm going to give you more information. That's actually like, unless there's anything different about that information or it's delivered differently. So it's a good thing. I think it's a crisis, but in a good way for me. You're much further down the line than me. Where are you with this all? Like, have you got any products? Have you got anything that you're thinking of bringing out? Some courses? Tell me.
So, one of I really think that's super smart what you were just talking about like, what is your why? What is the kind of mission behind what you're doing? And are you doing anything that's different? Right. And so that's something I always ask myself is like, what can I do that's different, that brings kind of a fresh energy? And like, kind of for me, the why behind it is a lot of the same things you talked about, that I think that when people are new to the space, they see a lot of like really technical stuff or these like hour-long interviews with the CEO and whatnot, which is great. Like, I do interviews all the time, but I think that like a targeted like little like 5 minute, here's everything you need to know, breaking it down, like
Yeah.
stuff like that, content like that, I think is really powerful. And even more like just kind of like lifestyle fun content. Like if they come to Twitter or Instagram or wherever they are, and all the crypto content they see is just super nerdy, then that might not feel very approachable to them, right? And so that's something that I always try to think about with kind of my shorter form content as well, is just kind of having more of that lifestyle approachable kind of thing. And then your question about sorry, it was about monetizing or courses, right? That's what you asked.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I don't have any plans to release any kind of like actual products that I'm selling. And maybe at some point, I would, but at this point in the game, that's not really something that I'm focusing on. Like I'm finding that focusing on building my community
Mm,
and my body of work is a lot more important. And to be honest, like one of the mindsets that I've brought into this whole thing is to be kind of cautious with the way I monetize it,
mm,
actually,
course.
because I think it's really important to kind of put in the work and build that base and really build like I said, a body of work and a
Yeah.
community.
It's
Because
interesting. Yeah. Go on.
well, just in the crypto space, so many people that make content get bad reps for being shills, right? That's kind of
Yeah.
the
I've
common
been there.
terminology.
I've done it. I'll be honest with you. I've done it, and I look at it now, and it's like, well, how do you scale that? Do you really want to, if you're going to move forward in the industry, do you want to scale that kind of that scammy kind of borderline? Yeah, I'll bend the rules. Nobody's looking kind of thing, mate.
Right. And that's where I think that's like, that will determine how far you grow. Like the more scammy, whatever, like willing, like cheap, quick dollar, like you're willing to take, like the
Yeah.
less you're going to, I think, grow long term versus being willing to like I say no to things all the time that
I bet you
people
do.
want to pay me. And it's like, I just want to align with brands that I think are really aligned with my, kind of personal values and I
Mm,
think are important and provide value and that I think my audience would find interesting. And I think that if you can bring that kind of filter to it, like the long-term potential is a lot greater. So
Yeah. Well, look, I'm really impressed with you. You're honestly, I'm really impressed with you as a person, and I wish you all the luck in the world. Where can we find you? Where can I'm sure there's a surge of new fans just waiting to find you.
Yeah, so you can find me as Girl Gone Crypto pretty much anywhere that people hang out online. So definitely very active on Twitter, but also YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn. I'm on a bunch of decentralized sites too. So if anyone's watching this and you're on like Hive or Float or Rebuzz or Somi or any of those, you can find me on there as well.
Cool. Well, thank you for coming on today. You've made my day. And I wish you all the best for the day ahead.
Oh, thank you. And thank you so much for having me on your show. It's great to meet you and get to chat with you.